All right, good morning. You should be watching this on Wednesday morning in algebra class with my sub, who I believe is going to be Mr. Auclair. He is a former math teacher, so he can help you with any questions you have, and I'm sure he'd love to be of use to you. So what you need to do is you need to go to page 30 in your packet. We're going to do page 30, 31, and 39. I will be checking this, and this will be a graded homework assignment when I come back tomorrow. And if you don't have your packet, if you've lost it or misplaced it, you can do this work on a separate piece of paper. So let's just jump right in. We're going back and reviewing some of the basics with functions here. And in number 1, we just have a function rule with an equation, and we have to do some things with it. And the first thing they want us to do is find f of -4. Well, that -4 is replacing the x in the f of x, so we substitute it in for x and evaluate. So 3 times -4 minus 5. And 3 times -4 is -12, and -12 minus 5 is -17. You can type that in your calculator, or you can work it out step by step. B is a different question. B is now saying, what x gives you 25? X is still unknown. That's why it's here with f of x. We want to know what x value will make the function equal to 25. So we're not substituting 25 in for x. We're substituting 25 in for f of x. So 25 equals 3x minus 5. We add 5 to both sides to get 30 equals 3x. And then we divide both sides by 3, and we get 10 equals x. So when x equals 10, f of x is 25. f of 10 equals 25. Okay, C is a function within a function. It's taking the f of x function, multiplying it by 2, and then adding 3, and that gives us the g of x function. So in order to find g of 5, we need to figure out what f of 5 is. G of 5 is going to be 2 times whatever f of 5 is plus 3. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. I'm going to take this f of x, substitute 5 in, and figure out what f of 5 is. F of 5 is 3 times 5 minus 5. So f of 5 equals 10, because 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 minus 5 is 10. So g of 5 is 2 times 10, because that's what we got for f of 5, plus 3. And so what we end up getting for g of 5, 2 times 10 plus 3, is 20 plus 3, which is 23. All right, now we have a picture shown below. We want to this little picture of this function, and we want to answer some questions. So this is g of x, and now we're given find g of -1. So we want to know, where is x -1? So here's where x is 0. Here's where x is -1. Find your graph. It's right here. What's the point there? -1, -4. So, what is g of -1? It's asking you for the y value when x is -1, so g of -1 equals -4. I gave you the x, you found the y. B is different. Now I give you the y, you find the x. It says up here that y equals g of x. So if I say g of x equals -3, I really want to know where y equals -3. So where is y equal to -3? -3 is right here on the y-axis. So all along this line, y is equal to -3. And our graph intersects -3 in 2 places, there and there, at the point -2, -3, and at the point 0, -3. So our function equals -3 when x equals -2 and 0. What is the y-intercept? I'm leaving that 0, negative 3 here because the y-intercept is where x equals 0. If it's a function, there will always be 1. And you can write the point 0, negative 3 or y equals negative 3. X-intercepts are where it crosses the x-axis. And we can have more than one of those. So we're looking along the x-axis. It crosses here, 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 and here. Your x-intercepts are where y equals 0. So all 4 of those points are going to have a y value of 0. And the first one is negative 3, 0, then 1, 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, I believe. Let me check again. Yep, 5, 0, and then 7, 0. You could have also written x equals negative 3, 1, 5, and 7. Find the absolute minimum and the x value where it occurs. Okay, so the lowest point is our minimum, which is right there, and that is the point 1, negative 4. So we stated the minimum, negative 4. And we stated the x value where it occurred at 1. Last question, is the bolded portion increasing or decreasing? So that's this right here that I'm highlighting in purple right now. And that is increasing. Remember, if you were on a roller coaster, you are going uphill. All right, number 3 is some review of a piecewise function. So remember, these two inequalities tell you which function to use. If your x value is less than or equal to 2, we're going to use x minus 1. And if our x value is greater than 2, we use 2x plus 1. So for a, b, and c, we have to figure out where those x values they give us fall. So negative 2. Negative 2 would work for this x. It's less than or equal to 2, so we use x minus 1. So f of negative 2 equals negative 2 minus 1, which equals negative 3. Which inequality does 2 fall in? Is 2 less than or equal to 2, or is 2 greater than 2? Well, 2 is not greater than 2. 2 is less than or equal to 2, so we are going to use the first function again here. So f of 2 equals 2 minus 1, which tells me that f of 2 equals 1. And last, evaluate f of 4. This x value works for this inequality. 4 is greater than 2, so we use that second function, 2x plus 1. So f of 4 equals 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 plus 1 is 9. All right, so create a table of values. So now we're going to fill in our table of values and graph it. Now I like to mark off first which values go with which functions. So all my x values that are less than or equal to 2, including 2. For all of these, we're going to use that top function. And I said either create 2 tables or mark off your table where you switch so you don't forget.
Ari Justice needs to go to Mrs. Niesick. She just called.
He is in the library.
Okay, well, you need to go get him. And
Wait, hold on a second. I had to put him through a screencast.
Then text the library or email the library and have him go to Miss Niesick. It's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple. You put your feet on the desk, it's simple. You're out of school. It's simple.
I don't know what to tell you. What do I tell her?
No, I told you.
Oh, okay.
He said he's going next door. He's probably going home. If he's not there in 5 minutes, I'll go to him.
Okay, yeah. Well, he went to the library, I think. Or maybe he went home. I don't know. Sorry, that's what I get for doing a screencast in study hall. Ignore the last minute there. Let's see. Okay, bottom half of our graph, we're going to use that top function. So you can mark it off so you know to switch. Now, my advice to you is going to be to do this on a graphing calculator. So I just want to remind you what you have to do. You're going to go to y equals, and then in y1, type your first function. And in y2, type your second function. And then when you go to your table, and your table you get to by hitting second graph, that takes you to the table. So what we get is when x is -4, we get -5. When x is -3, we get -4. When x is -2, you get -3. When x is -1, you get -2. When x is 0, you get -1. When x is 1, you get 1. Nope, you get 0. And when x is 2, you get 1. So I'm just going to fill my points in here. -4, -5, -3, -4, -4, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 0, -1. What am I doing here? 0, -1, and then 2, 0. Oh no, this is 1, 0. Man, I can't read a point right now. And then 2, 1. I'm so sorry. Okay, so there are those points, and then we're going to switch. I'm going to switch to pink, and we're switching to the Y2 column is where we're going to get these values from.